What's going on, guys? It's I'm Doubtful here, back again with another YouTube video. In today's YouTube video, I'm going to show you all of the settings and basically everything that you need to be running in Black Ops 6 to just give you that competitive advantage over everyone else playing the game. There's some couple settings that you guys will probably know. There's some couple settings, that are brand new to Call of Duty in general that you may not know about. So without further ado, let's get straight into it. Alright guys, so first and foremost, I'm just going to run through like all of my graphics, like, preset settings. It's pretty standard, nothing really changes from Call of Duty to Call of Duty. So I'm just going to run through them really quick, and I'll just, if there's something that I need to talk about, I'll talk about it and stop and talk about it. So, for display, there's really not much going on. If you got NVIDIA, make sure to figure out if you are CPU heavy or GPU heavy, like on your PC. What you should do whenever you first load up Black Ops 6 is doing a benchmark, which is right here in the graphics like tab. When you run that benchmark tool, at the end it'll give you stats, tell you the bottleneck percentage of your CPU and your GPU. Whichever percentage is higher, it'll then you'll take that and then figure out whether you need to use on or on plus boost. If you are like more GPU heavy, you're going to use boost. If you're CPU heavy like me, you're going to use on plus boost. So just make sure to go ahead and use the benchmark to figure out which sort of NVIDIA Reflex low latency that you're going to be running. Same thing, normal, eco mode preset, custom, VSync, make sure both of these are off. Custom frame rate limit. I see a lot of people and a lot of streamers and content creators coming out with settings videos saying to put this as unlimited. You don't want to put this as unlimited. You should only put it as unlimited if you have a fire PC, absolute top-notch PC, and you can run 350 frames or however many like the cap is, and you have a monitor with a refresh rate of like 400 or some shit like that. But your custom frame rate limit should be the highest of your refresh rate. So for me, for example, I have a 240 hertz monitor. That is the refresh rate that I have on this monitor, so I keep it at 240, cap it at 240. My PC can go higher than that, but it's not really gonna do you any justice because your monitor is not gonna like have any sort of, I guess, refresh rate faster than 240. So you might as well just keep it at 240. Next, we're gonna do the rest of the settings down here. Basically all the same. Native, pause game rendering off, reduce quality when inactive 10 minutes, focus mode 0. Make sure the HDR is off. That will like really fuck up your gameplay whenever you're playing. Now we're gonna move into the quality tab. Graphics preset custom. Make sure your render resolution is at 100, 1920 by 1080, or whatever your monitor resolution is at. Dynamic resolution off. Upscaling and sharpening, Fidelity FX CAS. We're gonna do Fidelity FX CAS for your upscaling and sharpening. That's the best, basically, upscaling sharpening to use. Make sure that's at 100. I see people use like 90 or like 80 or whatever. 100 is fine. There's really no difference in going from 90 to 100 or like 80 to 100. Perfectly fine. NVIDIA DLSS frame generation, I don't use personally. I haven't found much of a difference when using it. I really don't recommend using it unless you have like really low frames and you need to get like a couple more extra frames, because it really doesn't do much. It really only hurts like your performance playing wise. So just turn it on, turn it off, see which way you like it, and then go from there. For your VRAM scale target, as I said in my other settings video for MW3, what the fuck? Okay, anyways, I don't know why it backed me out. Did it literally in the last video. But for your VRAM scale target, if you have this at 50, if you have this at 80, it really doesn't make that much of a difference. I don't know why all these people are telling you to put it at 80, put it at 90, put it at 70, 60, or whatever as a sweet spot. I have found zero difference, and in fact, in my personal experience, running it at 80 actually hurt my performance and like latency and the performance of my game and everything for some reason. So I keep it at 50 at the lowest setting possible. You guys can toy around with this, see what the sweet spot is for you, and go from there. Okay, next is variable rate shading. So this is a new setting that I actually turned on and started using fairly recently. This, in my opinion, is actually good for your performance. It actually does help your performance with getting you more frames, helping like reduce like your latency, help reduce like packet bursts and stuff like that, and hitching, all this, that, and the other. I do recommend turning this on. If it doesn't, if you turn it on and ends up not helping you, then you can always turn it off. But in my personal opinion, this shit actually does help you. So we're gonna go really quick down the rest of all of these settings. I basically have everything at the lowest possible setting or lowest possible choice for each category, and or off. So we're gonna go down the list. Very low, low, off, low, very low, off, low, minimal. On-demand texture streaming, gonna make sure that this is off and not optimized, and then you're gonna want to turn this down all the way down to the lowest possible and put it at 16, and then turn off the download limits. So this will, if you have this on and you have this optimized, this will actually make you packet burst a lot in the game and actually fuck you up like a lot when playing. So make sure that this is off. So we're gonna have low here, very low, off, low, off, low, off for pretty much everything. What we're doing here is I just need the most frames and best performance as possible. I don't care what the game looks like. You guys know me, I play competitive. I don't need the game to look pretty. I want the best possible settings out there, the best, performance settings out there. So this is what I run. Does great for me. And yeah, so let's move over to the view. So for my FOV, I didn't really change it from the last game. I'm keeping it at 100 as of right now. I've seen a lot of people, since it, we're playing on smaller maps and everything, to bump it up to like 103, 105. I wouldn't recommend going past 105 because after 105 you start losing aim assist. So stay within like 100 to like 105 range and figure out which one's the best for you. ADS field of view, we're not changing this, keeping it affected. Weapon field of view, you're going to change this to wide to make your weapon look smaller, just to give you more space on your screen to make sure that you can see everything on the map. This we don't really care about. Make sure your motion blur for your world and your weapon are off, and your camera movement and your third-person camera movement and everything is on the least, which is 50%. Make sure you're not bobbing up and down and stuff like that and trying to get that realistic sort of thing. Yeah, so that's pretty much it for all of like your graphics preset. Now let's get into the things that you guys should be turning on that are basically brand new to Black Ops 6. Okay, so I know I said this is new, but this isn't new. Make sure that your aim response curve type is on dynamic. So what you're gonna do is you're gonna come over to controller, gonna go over to aiming, gonna click on advanced aiming settings, and then change this aim response curve type to dynamic, and then keep this at 1.00. Okay guys, this is a brand new setting from BO6. This basically will give you ATS. So if you want ATS, turn on tactical sprint assist, and I believe you turn the delay like down to 0. I could be wrong. I wouldn't know. I don't really run this. In my honest opinion, if you run ATS, if you're playing Warzone, by all means run ATS. But if you're playing normal multiplayer COD, don't run ATS, and I'll tell you why. Whenever you run ATS and you're just sprinting on the map, like 9 times out of 10, you're just gonna be caught with your pants down on the map, just fucking running around, and you're not gonna have your gun up. You're just going to be sprinting around the entire time because it's just so easy just with your ATS and stuff like that. Warzone, it's fine because you're running around everywhere and stuff like that, so of course you're going to want ATS. But for normal multiplayer, you do not want ATS on. It will hurt you. I don't care who you are. I don't care if you're the best movement player in the game. It will hurt you. So don't fucking run ATS, in my honest opinion. What you're gonna want to run though is go over to movement advanced settings, and what I do is I turn on single tap run. What this does is, as you guys know, we have tactical sprint and normal sprint in the new Call of Duties, and you basically got to double tap your left stick or click down twice on your left stick to get your tactical sprint. This, when you turn on single tap run, all you have to do is just tap it once or just click down once. And this basically just makes it feel like, you know, old school like style Call of Duty, where all you gotta do is just click down once. It saves your controller lifespan, so you don't gotta be spamming down on the left stick so many times. And this is actually what I run, so I recommend turning this on. Another thing that you guys are gonna want to change is your slide and dive behavior. You know, switch this to hybrid. So this was implemented in the MW3 basically like late into the season, so not many people like started running it, and not many people like wanted to like use it and stuff like that. But I highly recommend running hybrid. Basically what this does is that you can slide and dive at the same time. You tap to slide and you have no delay on your slide. When you have slide only on, there is a slight bit of a delay when it comes to just clicking your tap to slide. Whenever you have hybrid on, you tap to slide, you have no delay, and then you tap while holding sprint to dive. So basically what that means is you're gonna hold down on the left stick whenever you're sprinting, like hold it down, and then you're gonna click your dive button, or your whatever the crouch and dive button is, and then you'll dive. It'll take a while to get used to, but in my honest opinion, hybrid is the very best option for this setting to go. You don't want slide only, you don't want tap to dive, you don't want tap to slide. Trust me, hybrid is 110% the way to go. It will take a little bit to get used to, but it doesn't matter. It's the best. Another thing in the movement advanced settings, what I turned off is grounded mantle. I'm turning grounded mantle off. There were a couple times that I've noticed that in this game especially, there's like a lot of tables and things that you can mount in the game. And grounded mantle basically means that if you're near that and you're trying to jump chow someone, or like shoot someone and you're jumping at the same time, or like you're just jumping near it, it'll just automatically mantle it for you. And that's messed me up a couple times, and trust me, you don't want that. Turn off grounded mantle, and then this will in turn also turn off automatic airborne mantle as well. One thing that doesn't really give you a competitive advantage, but I think is also cool, that if you guys are, you know, old school Call of Duty players like me, you'll like this addition. For your hit marker preset, you want to change it to classic, and that will give you the basically the same hit marker sound as BO4. I know I said like old school Call of Duty players, and BO4 is fairly recent. However, it's classic now. I mean, it's been what, like 6-7 years now since BO4, but the classic sound, way better, in my opinion. Old school Black Ops hit marker sound effects, way better than the default. Okay, another thing that you guys are going to change is go over to the interface, and then come over to color customization, and make sure that you turn on your color filter to filter 2. Make sure you change it to world, and make sure both of these are on 100. Default wise, your game looks grainy, it looks dull, the colors are not popping. Whenever you put this color filter setting on, it'll make your game look more vibrant, have more color. You'll be able to see things way better on the map whenever you're moving around, so I highly recommend turning this setting on. Okay, so two things that are basically three things that I'm going to add, and these are basically like the last like sort of settings that will give you a better competitive advantage in Black Ops 6. Is you come over to the HUD bounds, and you make sure that these arrows are the closest to the screen as possible. And basically what this does is it brings all of your HUD bounds and like your mini map, your basically your fucking like ammo, your like basically all the icons on your screen closer to the middle of the screen, so you basically don't always have to, you know, look like basically like turn your whole entire head to like look at the top left to like look at the mini map. It'll just be like right there, super close to the screen, so you don't really gotta avert your eyes away from, you know, the center of the screen, which is where all the action is. And then following off that, you're going to the HUD presets. Now, in Black Ops 6, they introduced HUD presets, where it basically just means that you have a whole bunch of presets that you can use for your minimap and stuff like that, that you can basically just fool around with. We're not going to touch any of these. We're going to move over here to the visuals. You're going to make sure that you change your minimap shape to a square. The square actually has more surface space than the circle, so you're 110% going to want to run the square. I'm turning off the compass type because the compass sucks. I don't use it. It's useless. You don't need it. Turn off the compass type. Minimap rotation we're keeping on. We're going to keep the radar off. Make sure you change the scale to 103. This basically just makes your minimap just a little bit slightly smaller. You don't really want to go higher than 103. I basically got this from Hydra, who's on LA Thieves right now. He has it at 103. I don't recommend going higher than this. He pretty much knows what he's talking about. This guy's been grinding the game since it came out. Basically, what this does is it makes your minimap at the top left a little bit bigger than normal. And in this game with your minimap, it's like super small, and you can't really see on the minimap like what your like teammates are doing and like where like the enemy like red dots are, unless you're like directly on top of them. This basically, you know, makes it have more of a classic minimap that you'll be able to, you know, see more clearly on the map and like see the red dots and see what's happening. All right, guys, one last thing before we go. This is the one thing that is basically brand new to Call of Duty that I've never seen in any other Call of Duty besides this one. Is you're going to want to come over here and you can change your crosshair color. Now, I haven't like fooled around and changed the crosshair color myself, but if you guys want, you guys can come over here to interface. You're going to want to go all the way over to gameplay HUD and then come over to crosshair, and you can change the crosshair color. Now, I know I have a couple friends that are basically like running blue, they run freaking like purple, pink, yada yada yada. Basically, you're going to want to change this one to some sort of color that stands out to you, that will basically just make it pop more in your eyes. As of right now, I just keep it on white default. I haven't really messed around with it. And then also for your center dot, you can also change this to larger or largest. Basically, this center dot is going to be in the center of your screen, and it's going to help you with centering and moving around the map. And if you want to make it larger, you can make it larger. I just keep it on default. I know a whole bunch of people that have it on larger, and yeah, that could help you out with your aiming a lot, for sure. Alright guys, that was pretty much all of the settings in Black Ops 6 that will basically just give you the best competitive advantage for Call of Duty, for Black Ops 6 in general. Whether you're playing pubs, whether you're playing wagers, tourneys, whether you're playing challengers, these are for sure the best settings that I have found so far. Basically all of like the settings that you guys might not have known about, that people have found out within like the last couple of days. Just wanted to share it with you guys. As always guys, make sure to like, comment, and subscribe, and I'll see y'all in the next one. Peace.